hope you're having a blessed and prosperous day. I'm back. My poll question: what draft grade would you give the Falcons? A, B, C, D. A, B, C, or D. NFL draft. It's over, y'all. Finished my conference. Really enjoyed it. Just watching the draft as I'm driving back home, but I need a car wash really bad, so I'm about to stop at the car wash. So I wanted to get this little video in because when I get home, man, I might just lay down and take a nap because it's been a long last few days. Enjoyed myself, but yeah, rather just absorbed a lot of knowledge. Been in class, been in sessions, been in breakouts, been listening to phenomenal speakers, but I've been trying to keep up with the draft. Some of y'all been seeing some of my content, some shorts and whatnot on YouTube, but yeah, we're gonna get into this draft grade. What would you grade the Falcons draft? A lot of people are kind of like, ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about our draft. Let us pray. I don't know about our draft. A lot of people did not like the Michael Penix Jr. pick. Let's talk about it, man. First round pick number 8. Top 3 quarterbacks gone. You got the top edge rushers still on the board. You got Dallas Turner. You got Latu. You got Jared Verse still out there. Falcons have a chance to, they got a chance to get their guy that they consider the best pass rusher in the draft. But they opt to get Michael Penix Jr. A lot of fans didn't understand it. A lot of ESPN analysts didn't understand it. But clearly, Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot felt like Michael Penix Jr. is the quarterback of the future. So, if you have a chance to get the quarterback of the future, I guess you take your guy, you take your guy. Welcome in, Falcon fans. Join the poll, man. How do you grade our draft? Join the poll. Thank you. Let me see. I got 2 votes. What we seeing? We got 1A and 1D. Okay. We got 1 at the top and 1 at the bottom. That's interesting. If you guys are here, let me know in the comment section, man. Why? Why do you give it an A? Why do you give it a D? Why do you give it an A and why do you give it a D? That's interesting right there. Michael Penix Jr., quarterback of the future. Pick number 8. I mean, you're not going to get him in the second round. It was clear. 6 quarterbacks taken in the first 12 picks. I mean, if you didn't get Penix Jr. right there, you might as well have waited till the 6th round to get Joe Milton. That's kind of how the draft went. So, I mean, is Joe Milton going to be a guy that's going to be a developmental guy? Is he even going to play quarterback? He might end up being a tight end like a Felipe Franks. So If you're looking at sustained excellence, which I think Raheem Morris is, the way Matt Ryan's career ended, and we had no quarterback that had been groomed at the end of Matt Ryan's career, it just put like egg on the face of that front office. I mean, there was no plan B. There was no quarterback holding the clipboard that could just take the reins after Matt Ryan left, and that was our fault. That was our fault. They never planned for the future. Never got a guy in there, you know. And I think that was just a big gaff by the front office. Big gaff by the head coach. Big gaff by Thomas Dimitroff. You have to plan for the future. I don't care if his feelings are hurt. Kirk Cousins right now, man, they say he was a little angry when Michael Penix Jr. was going to be the draft pick. So the Falcons reached out to him, hey, we're going to pick this guy. We just want to communicate with you. He was a little angry. I don't care. I mean, you just got $100 million guaranteed. I don't care if you're a little angry, Kirk. Yeah, man. Michael Penix Jr., that's who we going with. You know? I think it's okay. But yeah, so we go Michael Penix. Obviously not a popular pick in football circles. Surprisingly, Stephen A. Smith was okay with the pick. But a lot of other people saying the Falcons are crazy. What are you doing? You just paid your quarterback, but I digress. That's what happened in round one. Round two, we trade up to get defensive lineman who's probably going to be a 3-4 defensive end. Rook, row your boat gently down the stream. Duke Aroro, second round pick. We trade up. That was really the only questionable pick for me. Why are we trading up so aggressively for Mr. Aroro? Not saying he won't be a good pick, but just looking at his tape, I mean, he looks like a rotational piece. I know we are thin on the D line, but I think the front office may have just been a little too aggressive with that pick. I think he's a guy we could have gotten if we stayed where we were at, I think it was like pick 43 or 46. But we trade up to pick 35. Also, there were a lot of studs still on the board at that pick, man. There were so many good players still on the board. I mean, players that could change your team were still on the board in round two. And we traded up to get this guy. So this makes me think if we got him at 35, he better be a starter and a borderline Pro Bowler. Because I think there's a guy in the Tavondre Sweat who was still there, who we could have gotten. Big defensive tackle, defensive lineman from Texas. We know he fell in the draft a little bit because he had a DWI, but you can't deny his talent. You can't deny that he's a game changer and a game wrecker. That's a guy I want to trade up for. I was very puzzled by that second round pick. Also, you had really good receivers on the board. A guy who I liked a lot, Malachi Corley, a guy that could change a game. Yak, yards after the catch, master receiver there. Corners. Now clearly we didn't draft one corner in the draft, so I don't think corner was a huge. Obviously, it wasn't a huge need for Jimmy Lake. I know we signed a couple corners late before the draft, couple veteran corners, so maybe we're good. Maybe we're rolling with my guy, second-year player, Clark Phillips. Maybe we're comfortable with Clark Phillips lining up beside AJ Terrell. Maybe they're good with that, but I don't know if I was good with that coming into this draft. I don't think I was thinking that we're okay rolling out Clark Phillips and AJ Terrell as our two top corners week one. But round number 3, we go another defensive player. We go Trice, Braden Trice from Washington, defensive end, edge, outside linebacker. We finally addressed the pass rush. And I think that was definitely a good pick. We had to address pass rush. We needed pass rush in this draft, and we did address that in the 3rd round, getting Trice. He's definitely not like a quick twitch guy, but he's a strong guy. He's a guy that does have moves, pass rushing moves, pass rushing chops. But he's not a sexy pick, but he's a guy that was very productive at University of Washington. So we addressed that. So I think that was a good pickup. Trice in the 3rd round there. We traded our 3rd round pick to trade up to get a row. And that's another part of that trade that I just didn't like. We got 2 3rd round picks. We could have doubled up on edge, or we could have went receiver right there. Like, let's trade in that 3rd round pick. That just did not sit well with me. So then we get defensive lineman from Oregon. Then we get linebacker from, I believe it's Notre Dame. Then we get a running back from Alabama, backup running back, Alabama. Then we get a receiver from Illinois, Washington. I think his name's Casey Washington. And then we finish up the draft with a D lineman from Georgia. So all in all, it was a heavy defensive draft for the Falcons. Very heavy defensive draft. And I think most experts would say the Falcons defensively, definitely, I think anybody who's been following the Falcons for a long time, defensively, has been the Falcons' weakness. We made some strides last year, some really big strides, bringing in Jesse Bates III. That was an awesome pickup by Terry Fontenot. He helped the back end of our defense tremendously, but still not able to get that consistent pressure on the quarterback, which the Falcons need to be successful and to get off the freaking field on 3rd down. I mean, saying that you need a pass rush isn't just a cliche slogan to be a good football team. You want to get off the field on 3rd down. And the best way to get off the field on 3rd down is to have a great pass rush. So, a lot of fans going to be watching this Michael Penix. They're going to be watching this Michael Penix saga play out. And if he doesn't hit, man, and Dallas Turner ends up becoming like a Pro Bowl caliber DN, or if Latu ends up being a great edge rusher, or even Jared Verse, man, they will never forgive Terry Fontenot for passing up either of those guys. But I'm just in the camp like, let's look and see, man. They're the experts. I'm just a guy talking about my team. So I'm not going to say they were wrong for passing up those guys. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. We got Rome in here. What's up, Rome? But what would you give the Falcons draft? What would please take the poll if you're here. Just take the poll for a minute. Let me know what would you rate the Falcons draft? Would you give it an A? Would you give it a B, a C, or a D? I was gonna just cut D out and put F. But I think Falcons draft. it just seemed to me like some of the players that were identified as game changing players, the Falcons really didn't identify those guys. I mean, they identified the guys that are best for their scheme, best for team chemistry. Get a University of Washington UW guy, Jimmy Lake, former head coach of University of Washington. You get a Michael Penix. You get a Braylon Trice. So that's interesting. Okay, you get guys that are familiar with your position coach or your coordinator. So there, all those things factor into draft picks as well. It's not just about a guy's talent. Do you have connections? Do you have ties? The guy's personality. You scouted the guy. You recruited the guy in high school. You got him to your college. This, that, and the other, or there's just a lot of factors. Does someone already on your team know him? Does he have a good friend on the team? I just think the Falcons. I give it a solid C. That's what If you want to know what I think, I give it a solid C. Because honestly, we got to see. We got to see what happens, man. So I give it a C. I don't think it was a horrible draft by any means, because I do think the defense definitely need to be addressed, and I think the Falcons did that. I think they addressed D-line and edge. You would have liked to see them address maybe that safety position. There were some really good safeties on the board in round 2. All the safeties were on the board still, I believe, except for Cooper DeJean. Yeah, I would have liked to see them address safety, because I just don't think Richie Grant is going to be the guy going forward, lining up from Jesse Bates III, because he's consistently taking bad angles and getting beat in coverage. But maybe Jimmy Lake has a plan. Maybe Jimmy Lake has a plan. So let's see what's done. I give it an overall C, because we got to see. We got to see what happens. We got to see what happens with Michael Penix Jr. How long will he sit behind Kirk Cousins? I guess that's going to be the question from here on out. How long is this man going to sit behind Kirk? All right. How long is Kirk Cousins going to be an Atlanta Falcon? It's like the countdown now. It's the countdown. Signed to a 3-year deal, but that $100 million is guaranteed. I believe that deal becomes team friendly if they want to cut ties with Kirk Cousins after that 2nd year. There's not a lot of dead cap money in that 3rd season. So, you could see the Falcons potentially cutting ties with Kirk Cousins after 2 seasons. But if he balls out and plays really well, he stays that extra year and earns that money. And then you get Michael Penix Jr. that sits 3 years as a top 10 pick behind a veteran quarterback. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but definitely could cause some tension in that quarterback room. Michael Penix comes off as a very nice guy, humble guy, but all these guys are competitors, man. They don't get where they are to this pinnacle in the sport without being a competitor. Who's the best defensive player the Falcons drafted? Arguably, I guess that have to be the 2nd round pick, I suppose. Rook. It's like Duke, but it's spelled with an R, R-U-K-E. And then his last name is Orhro. O-H-R-O-R-H-O-R-H-O. He's a defensive lineman out of Clemson. He was drafted in the 2nd round, pick number 35 by the Falcons. So that's the best defensive player the Falcons drafted. You got to take care of the trenches. You're not going to win games on skill positions, though. Got to address the trenches, and I think the Falcons did that this year. I think they, paid a lot of attention to the trenches. So that's why I wouldn't grade them lower than a C. Because I think that's where games are won and lost. They did not address offensive line. I think the offensive line is one of the strengths of the team, even though they're transitioning to a different style of offense. I think this new offense could actually make the O-line better. Okay. It won't be as predictable. There'll be several like run pass options. I think that teams will be guessing more. They'll be off balance. That Sean McVay system. I mean, they're gonna be a whole lot more zone runs rather than power runs. Zone blocking scheme, and a heavy play action scheme, but with 3 wide receivers instead of 1 wide receiver out there. You know what I'm saying? A lot more 3 wide receiver sets in that Sean McVay passing tree, coaching tree, passing offense. So it's going to be a completely different looking scheme than what we saw with Arthur Smith the past 3 seasons, and I'm excited about that. So maybe we think we can roll out the same O-line and we can be effective, still running the ball. Got a stud back there, Bijan Robinson. Drafted another running back, but he'll probably be like a special teams guy from Alabama. And then, of course, we got Tyler Algier as well, who's a really good backup running back, man. 1,000-yard back his rookie year. So, yeah, I mean, we got a lot of talent offensively, man. Very heavy on that defense in that draft, so I liked it. I'm about to go through this car wash. I think it might get too loud. 29 bench presses is average. Okay, 29 bench presses to 225. I mean, you're saying that's average, but that's actually not average. Like 29, that's 30. That's bench pressing 225 30 times, bro. That's not average for a man. Like, maybe for like a big football beast type of man that are out here hitting each other and pinning. What's up, Austin?
Hey, Steve.
How you doing, buddy?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I think that's Austin.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
Run, but have a good weekend.
You too, buddy.
Thanks for saying hi.
Absolutely. Saw my guy Austin. We work together. Trying to make a difference in Ravenswood School District. Yeah, he's a good guy. Good guy, Austin. But yeah, 29 bench presses is not normal or average for just like an average man. Football purposes, sure. That's like an average number, but when you think about it, that's 225 pounds you're bench pressing without stopping. Yaga. And you gotta lock it out. Yaga. Yaga. I'll be lucky if I could do 2 of those, probably. If I get two bench presses at 225 pounds, boy, I'll be feeling like I did something. Come on, man. So, yeah, 29, 12 best. Bro, that's not average. That is not average. That puts him probably in the like 75th, like 80th percentile. So, yeah, that's pretty strong, actually. That's pretty strong, man. Yeah, 29 bench presses. That's really good, actually. So yeah, you need some strong men down there. Lock them arms, throw people around. So, Rook, welcome to the Falcons, buddy. Definitely got some guys that I hadn't really researched. Some of the guys that I was researching and I thought that would be really good fits for the Falcons, they absolutely passed on them round after round after round. So I had to look. I had to look up most of these guys, man, to see that some of their tape, and you know, some of their tape is not really that exciting. But like I said, these guys may just be good fits for our system, and you already know we looking for good character guys all the time. If you're, as long as Arthur Blank is our owner, we ain't gonna draft no, knuckleheads. So I guess it was a little bit of wishful thinking about the T'Vondre Sweat uh, draft pick because he just got in trouble, but you can't deny the talent. So I'm gonna get up out of here, man. It is about to get loud. How would you grade the Falcons draft? It's pretty split, actually. Got 40% saying they would give the Falcons draft an A. You got another 40% saying they would give the Falcons draft a D. And you got 20% saying they would give the Falcons draft a C. And I'm right there with that. I think they deserve a C. Because I don't really think they did much that's outstanding. Unless Michael Penix Jr. turns out to be a freaking Hall of Famer. I mean, maybe you come back and redo this poll, and if he's a Hall of Famer, then you got to give Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson a freaking A- at least, if you identify Michael Penix as a Hall of Famer this year. So, but I'm gonna get up out of here, man. It's your boy, Let's Pray. I hope you're having a blessed and prosperous day. Thank you for coming through. Thank you so much for everybody that came through, everybody that took the poll. I'm probably going to be back a little later and do like a full-blown analysis once we get like our undrafted players, undrafted free agents, and all that added tomorrow. I'll come back and do a little more for y'all. But as of today, your boy's tired. I'm probably gonna check out some NBA playoffs and just lay it down, get a nice little nap, man, and recover from a nice long weekend. Nice long week. Like the weekend just started, but I've been at this conference. I feel like I spent the whole weekend there. But man, thank y'all for coming through. Appreciate you, Rome, for coming through. Yeah, I mean, 29 reps. That's not like a like a huge number. Like you would think, like 40 would probably be what was number one? Do you know what number one was for a D lineman this year for reps on the bench press? Just give me that before we go, real quick. Look that up. I'm imagining probably like 40, 45, something like that. 30, 35. Okay. Well, yeah, he's right in there with the top. He's right in there. So, yeah, I mean, he's definitely one of the stronger guys of the draft. When you look at him, he kind of reminds me of Grady Jarrett a little bit. Him and one of the other guys we drafted there in the because we had 3 6th-round picks. So, yeah. Grady Jarrett coming back off of injury. We'll have him back this season, which will be great. Still no word on Calais Campbell, whether he's coming back, or Bud Dupree. So I think, these guys that we drafted are just like contingency plans, just in case we don't get those guys back. Sometimes your veterans don't want to sign early because they don't want to go through all the mini camp and all this voluntary camp and all this type of stuff. These guys have been playing in the league 15 years, 15 years. They don't want to do all this stuff in April and May. Just let me show up in July to camp. Let me get ready for the regular season. I know how to take care of my body by now. I've been in the league 12, 15 years, you know. So some of these guys might sign in June, might sign late just to avoid doing all the voluntary camp stuff, little mini camp stuff. But once it gets to training camp, you'll see those veterans roll out for sure, for sure. I hope we do get Calais back and Bud back because they were good. They were good last season. New scheme though, 3-4 base scheme, so it's going to be different. But I think, I trust in Coach Heem, man. I trust in the dream of Coach Heem. It's your boy, let's pray you have a blessed and prosperous day. Hope you enjoyed the NFL draft. I hope you enjoyed, the press conferences and the little mini conferences after each player was drafted. I've yet to watch all of them. I need to go back and watch that Michael Penix Jr. one. He definitely seems like a great kid, great young man. Look forward to just watching more of him and watching him spin that ball in a Falcons uniform. So man, I'm gonna get up out of here for real this time. All right, tell those that you love them while you can. Enjoy your Saturday and your Sunday. Have a great rest of your weekend. Much love. All right, Rome, I'm out, buddy. Peace, and I'm gone.